Bianca's happy. She just saw a badger.
It was dead. I'm not happy.
We are driving to the Bosnian seaside. Yeah, Bosnia has beaches on the Mediterranean. And we're headed there to enjoy all 12 miles of its coastline. 20 kilometers of coastline. I know it's not much, but how much sea do we need? Here, look at this map. So I've divided this road trip from Serbia into 3 days, and per tradition, I'm gonna stop at any Spomenik I see. And you know what a Spomenik is by now. You've seen parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of my Yugoslav Spomenik series, so I'm not gonna get into it now. But rest assured, when I see a Spomenik, you will too. Driving through Belgrade now. These are some buildings bombed by NATO. It's about a 4-hour drive total to get to the border from our home in Vršac. And while driving, let me preface this video with some words about the words I'm going to be using. Because Bosnia and Herzegovina is a tricky and confusing place to talk about. Almost no matter what I say, it seems I would piss off a Serb or a Croat, maybe even a Bosniak. I'll give you an example. Tonight, we're going to be staying in Srebrenica in Bosnia. And I mentioned this to a friend, a Serb friend. We're going to Bosnia, we're spending a night in Srebrenica. Immediately he replied, "That's not Bosnia, that's Republika Srpska." So, here are my disclaimers. There is a geographical, historical region called Bosnia. And there is also a geographical, historical region called Herzegovina. These two geographical, historical regions combined make up the country Bosnia and Herzegovina, which obviously got its name from the combined names of the two regions that make up the country. Bosnia region is the northern part of Bosnia. It takes up about 80% of the country, and the southern region is Herzegovina. When referring to the country, no one wants to say Bosnia and Herzegovina. Imagine saying this over and over again. No one in their right mind wants to hear it or say it, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bosnia and Herzegovina. So in this video, I'm just gonna call it Bosnia. If I'm talking about the region, I'll say Bosnia region, but Bosnia, that's the country. So on to the Republika Srpska comment by my friend. Bosnia is made up of two entities, and Republika Srpska is one of those entities. Most of Bosnia's Serbs live in the autonomous entity called Republika Srpska. The other entity that makes up Bosnia is called the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yes, the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina is made up of two entities, and one of those entities is called the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm just gonna call it the Federation from now on. Having fun yet? You see how confusing this is? At the border, and while we're waiting at the border, I'll tell you a bit more. So there are three main ethnic groups in Bosnia: the Serbs, Croats, and Bosniaks. And I'm putting up a map now. Take a look at this and you can see where they live within Bosnia. Bosniaks are a South Slavic ethnic group and have been Muslim since as far back as the 1400s. And about 50% of Bosnia's population is Bosniak. The second largest group are the Serbs, and I'll call them Bosnian Serbs. They have a long and continuous history of inhabiting the territory of Bosnia, and they make up around 30% of the country, and they're mostly Orthodox Christian. Then you have the Croats, who are Catholic, and they get 15% of the country. So Muslims, Orthodox Christians, and Catholics. Now, in the name of cohesion, Bosnia has 3 presidents, a 3-member presidency. 1 president for each ethnic group, but it doesn't really matter. The central government's power is so limited, they're so weak, as the country is largely decentralized. You know, the 2 entities that make it up are autonomous, the Federation and the Republika Srpska. Autonomous. And there's a third unit, the Brčka district, which is governed by its own local government, a city that answers to no one. I think it's the only one in Europe like that. And there's that. We're in Bosnia. And here it is, not 5 minutes across the border, and we have our first Spomenik in Bratunac. This is a memorial park created in 1978. It was built by Petar Krstic from Belgrade, and I believe he lived in Sarajevo later. I think we're going to see a number of his works here. And the height of this steel pipes obelisk is around 17 meters. This park commemorates the fallen soldiers and civilians from this region who perished during the National Liberation War. That's World War II. Nationalist Croats are the bad guys in the story behind this Spomenik. When the Axis Italian and German forces invaded and occupied the Kingdom of Yugoslavia in April 1941, the new country of the independent state of Croatia, abbreviated to NDH, was created. This new country absorbed much of present-day Bosnia, including the region where Bratunac is located. The nationalist Ustaša militiamen, who acted as the military arm of the NDH, waged a war of occupation and control. Racial laws were immediately instituted, which heavily oppressed ethnic Serb, Roma, and Jewish populations. Ethnic groups such as Croats or Muslims, they were in the clear. They were left alone. Long, complicated story short, the Ustaša Black Legion unit burned down all or most of the Serb villages in the area and raped and slaughtered Jewish and ethnic Serb residents. Ultimately, thousands of innocent civilians were killed, most of whom were Serbs targeted in the NDH's ethnic cleansing campaigns. And thousands of resistance fighters were killed here too. It looks like birds have made these steel pipes a home. So after World War II, with ethnic cleansing and all, the majority population here was Muslim Bosniak. But enter the Yugoslav wars. In 1992, the Socialist Republic of Bosnia declared independence from Yugoslavia. And this panicked the Serbs, who did not want to be separated from Yugoslavia, from Serbia. And so the Bosnian Serbs and the Muslim Bosniaks began fighting. The Bosnian Serbs formed Republika Srpska, a political body with the stated intent to safeguard the interests of the Serbs of Bosnia. And this area here was part of the land claimed by Republika Srpska. The Republika Srpska army was commanded by the infamous Ratko Mladic, and under his leadership it attempted to expel or ethnically cleanse Bosniaks from the newly formed Republika Srpska region, leading to, of course, many atrocities. Most famously, the massacre at the nearby town of Srebrenica, where we're driving to now. This is the Srebrenica Genocide Memorial, opened in 2003 by former US President Bill Clinton. He was president throughout much of the Bosnian War. So the estimate is that more than 8,000 Bosniaks were killed here in Srebrenica in July 1995 under the useless watch of Dutch UN peacekeepers. Here's how it happened. There were a large number of Bosnian refugees, something around 25,000, gathered here awaiting evacuation. The UN had declared this enclave a UN safe area, but the Dutch UN peacekeepers were forbidden by the UN to use force. And so the massacre began when Bosnian Serb forces, led by Ratko Mladic, moved into Srebrenica and separated Bosnian men and teenage boys from the large group of refugees and killed them. Some women and girls were raped and killed as well. Ultimately, Ratko Mladic was arrested in Serbia in 2011, extradited to The Hague, and convicted of war crimes, including genocide in 2017. Now, the story is a lot more complicated than that simplified version I just gave you, but that's the gist of it. There's a below-ground exhibit here at the memorial, and here are some of the photos. Not a soul here, aside from Bianca and me. Not even a guard at the museum. Here's what $20 gets you in Srebrenica. So we have about 2 hours to get some sights and sounds of Srebrenica. I can't say it. Srebrenica. 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 You say it.
Srebrenica.
Yeah. Now from here you can see a graveyard up the hill there. This looks communist Yugoslav to me. Maybe I'm just saying that because of the concrete and that it's abandoned. A Putin flag on a building with bullet scars. In the olden days, this town was known for the water, healing properties. I think they even built a spa here at some point. I don't think it's around anymore. First meal in Bosnia. So here's a spring, and the sign says, use only as instructed by a doctor. We drove some more and stopped because look at the water bubbling out of the road here. The sign here says this is beauty water, used for washing and applying to the skin, for acne, scar regeneration, boosting immunity, and again, best used as instructed by a doctor.
All right.
Oh, you're gonna be so beautiful. The water is rust-colored. Oh, look, I think they're bringing the spa back. Look at this. So it's, the spa's not ready for prime time yet. Maybe they're not gonna bring this back. It looks like they were supposed to be finished in 2011. Okay, say the town name.
Srebrenica.
Srebrenica.
Srebrenica, yes.
Voila. That was our landlord, and now you know how to say this town's name. Our landlord also told us that Srebrenica means silver. It was a silver mining town back in the day. Today is about a 4-hour drive south to Cięcište. I was going to stop at Foča along the way, and we were also going to stop at Visegrad, one of the most beautiful towns. They got a UNESCO-listed bridge there, built by Mimar Sinan. But no time. We spent a lot of time this morning with the landlords for breakfast and coffee, which I figured was more important than the sights. Let's go. A quick stop for a closer look at the green River Drina. A surprise monument here in Foča. This is dedicated to fallen fighters of the Bosnian War. Green glass, reminiscent of the color of the Drina River. So we've arrived Tiantiste. After about 5 hours of driving, Google Maps made some mistakes. Wasn't me. And we're in the Valley of the Heroes, where the famous Battle of Sutjeska took place. There's a Spomenik here, and there's a Spomen Dome, a house of memory. Looks abandoned, but take a closer look. Yeah, it's closed. And what a shame. There are 13 giant frescoes inside related to the battle. Maybe we'll try to come back tomorrow. If I can ask around town and see if it's ever open. Here's an abandoned hotel. Probably used to be very busy, fully booked. Back when so many Yugoslavs would come to this site. So there's a giant Spomenik up the hill here. I don't know if you can see it, if the sun isn't working with me. I'm gonna walk up there. To give you an idea of how miserable we are right now, it's 35 degrees Celsius. Oh, now you have the energy once the cameras are rolling? We've reached the giant Spomenik commemorating the Battle of Sutjeska. It was completed in 1971 by Mirodrag Žiković and Ranko Radović. I think I said that right. 19 meters tall, 25 meters wide. And we'll have the bimp for scale in the red dress. The Spomenik was built in honor of the battle that was fought here in 1943. It was Germany's attempt to take out Tito and crush his communist partisan army. It was something like 22 Yugoslav partisans versus 127,000 Axis forces. And over 7,000 partisans were killed here as they assisted Tito in his escape through the German lines. It was really an unlikely and miraculous escape. I think they've written songs, written poems. They made a movie about this in 1971, starring Richard Burton as Tito. It's called The Fifth Offensive. The Spomenik represents the wings of victory, overcoming the oppression and hate forced upon these hills by the German and Italian occupiers. Here's what 25 euros gets you in Tiantiste. We're staying about 200 meters from the Spomenik. Everything to your liking?
Yeah.
And here's our neighborhood. This is a nice way the market is keeping everything cool and fresh. Cheers. Don't take a shit, don't take a shit. Oh, you mangy animals. Good morning from Socialist National Park, our home in Cięcište. And as promised, we're gonna go and try to see those frescoes today. And we're back to the Spomendome, opened in 1974, famous for its frescoes that depict the Battle of Sutjeska. There's concrete doors. The names on the walls number 7,370 partisan soldiers who died fighting in the Battle of Sutjeska. The name of the artist who painted these 13 frescoes, a Croatian artist, is, can you repeat?
Krsto Hegedušić.
Krsto Hegedušić.
Hegedušić from Zagreb.
The only light in this Spomendome comes from the skylights. This one is called Tito at Sutjeska. This one is children and dogs. 150 children were killed at this site when discovered by the German soldiers' trained hunting dogs. And now for breakfast. Here's the village cop car we saw yesterday, and confirmed, it is a 4x4 Russian Lada. This is called uštipci. It's a fried dough ball, popular here and throughout the Balkans. So today, after driving for about 3 hours, we will finally have reached the Bosnian seaside. Woo! Weather's not looking too hot right now. 3 minutes later, in a miraculous turn of events, we have sunshine. Yeah. Stopped the car here at Lake Klinje because we have crossed from the Bosnia region into the Herzegovina region. wanted to mark the occasion. That peaceful noise in the background is the generator for the food truck.
I'm from Bosnia, take me to America. I really want to.
This is the town of Gacko. We're still in Republika Srpska, by the way, but in the region of Hercegovina. We're going to stop down here in this town to see a monument. A few minutes. We're down in Gacko, and here's a monument to partisans. That's the red star up there. A monument to fallen NOB fighters, World War II fighters, 1955 by an artist from Zagreb, Croatia. Socialist, realist style, of course. Yeah, you know how to play chess?
No. I know this one can go.
For our third stop in Herzegovina region, we're driving a half an hour to Bileća for another monument. We're in Bileća municipality now, a village called Korita, and this monument is dedicated to 130 Serbs that were killed by Ustaše on June 4th and 5th, 1941, and then thrown into a pit in this village. This monument was erected originally in 1966, but the sculpture on the top was put up in 1991, and it is by Nandor Glid from Subotica, one of my favorite artists. Walking behind the monument now, I think perhaps this is where the remains are kept. So now a 50-minute drive further south to Bosnia's southernmost city, Trebinje, famous for its Ottoman architecture. It is in the region of Hercegovina, still Republika Srpska. Here it is, Trebinje, Bosnia's southernmost city. This is Old Town Trebinje behind me. We'll take a walk over there soon. First, I want to show you the bridge. Here it is, the town's Ottoman bridge. It was constructed 1574 by Mehmed Pasha Sokolovic in honor of his son who died in the battle with Venice. You want to do a little walk over the bridge? Trebešnica, that's the name of this river that flows through town. There's a snake down there. Can you see it? What's your favorite part of the bridge?
The snake?
The snake, yeah. In 1965, a hydropower system was built, and this bridge was completely submerged in the newly created reservoir. So the next year, in 1966, they relocated the bridge upstream to this location here. Just read there was a Nandor Glid sculpture here as well. 1953, Monument to Fallen Fighters. So Nandor Glid was a Holocaust survivor from Subotica, and you may know him from his work at Dachau concentration camp. Also, he did the menorah and flames in Belgrade. And he has works in Subotica. Actually, I think this is also an ossuary. West Gate entrance into the Old Town. And now, for the first time on this trip, we're going to leave Republika Srpska and enter the Federation. We're heading to the seaside town of Neum. It's a Croat-majority town on the Adriatic Sea.
I will assimilate.
We arrived. This is loza, it's a Croatian rakia. Grilled squid, grilled squid. Let me show you the view from our house. That bridge, it's brand new, completed less than a year ago, is linking the Croatian exclave of Dubrovnik to mainland Croatia so that people don't have to drive through this Neum in Bosnia, this corridor, and have to go through 2 border checks. Wasn't here last time I was here. We decided we're going to stay here for 7 nights. Mostly beach. But not to worry, we're still going to find some Spomeniks while based here. We'll take a road trip or 2 to somewhere. Mostar, maybe? Neum is all mountain like the rest of Bosnia, so a lot of stairs to get down to the shore. What I'm understanding so far is that Bosnians, or the Croatians that live here in Neum, don't need shade and don't need any chair cushions, or even any chairs. Buzara is a local name for stew. It's an integral part of the Adriatic Croatian cuisine. Buzara mussels. Mussels, olive oil, wine, garlic, parsley, breadcrumbs. Let's see. A vegetarian eats a mussel for the first time.
It is meaty.
All this for $9. Where else? Really good. Rose liquor. Now to try fig liqueur. I don't get it. An hour before sunset, the beach clears out. All of the beaches. $3 for a cevapi. Is this a fin? It's a fin? That's a fin. Fin. Second morning in Neum. Breakfast in the backyard. And then we will drive to the peninsula in Bosnia. That land right over there, that peninsula, that's where we're driving to today. And this is the view after about 3 minutes. From the peninsula, you can pretty much see the whole town of Neum. Crossing to the other side of the peninsula. We're gonna go to Feral Beach today. And look, we're facing Croatia directly here. Nobody here. Perfect contrast to yesterday. We'll call this day Monday. You can see the Croatian bridge that bypasses the Neum corridor a lot clearer from here. You can see more of it. What is the name?
Orada. This is Orada, this is Brancin, and
Picked up this book randomly in Vershats. I didn't even realize the story is set in Bosnia. Great book. I recommend it. One, zero. One? One.
two.
No, what do you got?
Two.
You have one.
Oh, I have one.
Two. She doesn't look happy. And three. Game over. Listen to this song. It's so beautiful. You hear it? La da da dee da 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 da. You like the song?
Yeah, very much.
La da dee da 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 la da da. Orata, Dorada, the gilt-head bream, the best tasting of all the breams. You can see all of Neum Bay from up here. And look, there is Neum's northern border with Croatia. That's the border crossing. See Zenit Beach. That's where we swam yesterday. This one's local. Is this your favorite part of Bosnia so far?
No, but I do like going to supermarkets.
So today we're doing a little day trip from Neum to go swim in Kravica waterfalls. 80 feet high waterfalls, 25 meters high. So I think this is one of the most popular destinations in Bosnia for tourists. Really oversaturated with tourists. I've been here before, but Bianca hasn't, so had to come again. It's pretty cold. About a 25-minute drive from Kravica Waterfalls is a tentative UNESCO listed walled town, a fortified town, fortified by a Bosnian king back in 1383. So we'll check it out on the way home. This is the town of Počitel, fortified town, UNESCO tentative listed. The years following the fall of the Bosnian medieval empire and Ottoman conquests, sometime late 1400s, the town was further fortified with support of Dubrovnik and Matthias Corvinus, King of Hungary, the Pope. Much of this town was destroyed by Croatian forces in 1993, including this mosque. This mosque was built in 1562. It's the Haji Alija Mosque, and they reconstructed it in 2005. Much of this town was rebuilt after the Bosnian War.
We have reached the top.
Yeah, top enough. We reached the top, top enough. It's about 15 minutes of walking.
Wow.
Barely broke a sweat. It is 35 degrees Celsius. And there you have it, lots of Turkish-inspired architecture. Stone-tiled rooftops here.
Let's see if it's good. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I don't think it's too done.
Fig thievery season. There's something you want the people to know?
Yeah, the fig was really good and it was perfect on the inside.
Very slippery stairs. You're looking at smokvara. It's a traditional dessert from this canton. There are 10 cantons in the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Remember, I'm just going to call it the Federation from now on. And the particular canton that we're in is Hercegovina Neretva canton. Anyway, this dessert is prepared with a dark brown dough consisting of big pekmez, thick syrup-like product. From this canton.
Too sweet?
Let's see how Bianca likes it.
Not sweet enough?
No, it's perfect sweet.
Perfectly sweet.
It's a fig Newton. Driving an hour back home to Neum. This is Svitovsko Lake, part of the Hutovo Blato complex of marshes, lakes, rivers, underground karstic well springs that make up a nature park called Hutovo Blato. Home sweet home, just in time for the sunset. Today it's kind of cold. It's in the 70s. Thought it might be a good time for a haircut. There must be a word in Croatian that Google Translate thinks means suck. So when I first wrote to this hairstylist and asked, if she does men, because it's called Lady Beauty, she said, yes, we provide sucking services for men. So I naturally booked an appointment. And then I got there and she says, do you want a long or short suck? So anyway, it's a good haircut. It's such an obvious non-beach day today. No reason to stay in Neum, so we are taking a day trip to Mostar, and we'll stop at a few interesting points along the way. And I do believe we'll see a Spomenik or two. I haven't forgotten about Spomeniks. So we've stopped at Radomlje Stečak necropolis, UNESCO listed. It's one of the most valuable monuments from the medieval period in Bosnia. Stečak is the name for a monumental medieval tombstone. Plural would be steci. These steci lie scattered all across Bosnia and in border parts of Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro. And there's an estimated 60,000 of them found within the borders of Bosnia. And these tombstones right here are considered the best preserved. The majority of the tombstones here date from 1480s through the 1500s. As Islam became more and more accepted, the necropolis expansion began to end. This necropolis here includes 133 steci, and the core of this necropolis was built end of 1300s when 3 big chests were made. All of these steci were made of limestone cut from a nearby hill. And now we got a 30-minute drive to a famous Sufi monastery. If you've ever Googled images of Bosnia, this one's come up for sure and you'll recognize it. This building we're passing by has Ustaše graffiti. See the U with the cross? A little bit of fascism for you. I think we're supposed to cross the river here. That was the Bunica River. Grandma River? If it was Bunica in Romanian. This is the Buna River, and we're going to see the source of it in a few minutes. Lagai Dervish Monastery. This Ottoman-era building was completed around 1520, and as you see, it sits at the base of a giant cliff where the Buna River seeps out from a cave. The source of the Buna is a strong karstic spring. There it is, the source of the Buna River. It's raining a bit. It's dark and cloudy. Not too many tourists today, which is nice. Last time I was here, thousands and thousands. Next up, popping into Mostar. Just arrived Mostar. You see some bullet holes on these buildings. Rather than walk around outside in the rain as I speak to you about the Spomenik we're about to see, I'm going to sit in the car and read a few passages from my Spomeniks Bible. So this is the Partizan Memorial Cemetery in Mostar, and it took 5 years to build. It was completed in 1965 by Bodan Bodanovic. You remember him. You've seen my previous videos. One of my favorites. A bit of the history. After the Axis invasion of 1941, Mostar was occupied by German, Italian, and Ustaše units. Ustaše, the fascist Croatians who were working with Hitler. And by August 1941, organized armed resistance against the occupation strengthened. Many joined partisan rebel groups, and Mostar was the center of a robust anti-fascist resistance, which earned it the nickname the Red City. Participation in this movement crossed both ethnic and religious lines. Partisans killed local Ustaše leaders. I'm not going to name them for you because the names are too complicated for me to say. But retaliations for these actions were savage. The Ustaše regularly took civilians hostage and executed them in a public area. By the end of the war, more than 1,000 civilians had been killed this way. After Mostar was liberated, February 14th, 1945, partisans scoured the city, hunting down and executing anyone they viewed as collaborators, including several Franciscan monks. Despite this site being declared a national monument by the Bosnian government in 2006, and a number of attempts at restoration, it's not in good shape, as you can see. None of the fountain elements work. Many of the stone markers have been smashed. In fact, I think all of the stone markers have been smashed less than a year ago. Over the course of one night, Croatian nationalists destroyed every stone marker, I think more than 700 of them. And the graffiti relates to ongoing ethnic tensions between Catholic Croatians on the west side of the river in the city and Muslim Bosniaks on the east. And these tensions are made more complicated by disagreements over the legacy of the many wars that plagued this area during the 1900s. In November 2017, a number of student visitors to the site were attacked by a group of masked assailants, and they say that you shouldn't visit this area by yourself. You should have a local guide. We're risking it. So there's that. No partisan tombstones left unbroken. Now we'll park in the old town and take a look at a UNESCO-listed Ottoman bridge. Another Spomenik. We crossed the river, leaving the Croat side of town, and we're now on the Bosniak side of town. Mosques. This is Koski Mehmet Pasha Mosque, 1618. And last time I was here, you could climb up the minaret. Nice view of the old bridge. The bridge that everyone comes here to see was opened in 1566, commissioned by Suleiman the Magnificent. You want to walk over the bridge back to the Croatian side?
Yeah.
This bridge ended up being a casualty of the Croat-Bosniak War. November 9th, 1993, the Croatians shelled it and it collapsed. No more bridge. The Croatians claimed that the bridge was used as a supply line for the army of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Anyway, in 2004 it was rebuilt and declared a UNESCO monument. The call to prayer is so gentle, almost like they don't want to disturb the Catholic Croatians on this side of the river. A lot of buildings in the city still have bullet holes from the Croat-Bosniak War. Mixed meat platter for one? For one? Is this the fin?
Yeah.
Fin.
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 Fin. Today we're staying in Neum. We only have 2 more full days in the city before moving on to Sarajevo. That'll be a different video. Bosnian beach crawl, beach number 4, Plaža Neum.
Nisam popila, je baš hvala.
I met the Croatian Vito. Vito. Looks like Vito, right? Come on, it's Vito. No, no, it's Mihailo. It's Vito. Now for food. Haven't eaten all day. So we're heading to a secret restaurant to eat prstaci. It's illegal everywhere. You can't get it anywhere. You can get it here in Neum, only Neum. It's not a secret place anymore because I just learned that it is still legal in Neum. This is the last year. And you can only get it here. After this year, gone forever. No more prstaci. No more prstaci. octopus carpaccio, frogfish carpaccio, tuna carpaccio, anchovies. You don't know what a frogfish is? Here's a picture of a frogfish. This is a frogfish. It's all head. The carpaccio is just tail. We're just eating the tail. This is me eating frogfish for the first time.
Find them just in Italy, Greece, maybe some parts of Turkey, and I don't know, just in Mediterranean. And they're forbidden.
These are called forbidden shells. They take 20 years to get like this. 20 years. Brown date shells. So they're prepared with garlic, white wine, and parsley. It's like a more tender mussel. Vegetarian, what do you think about the forbidden shells you just ate?
They were okay. They were not that good that you have to wait 20 years for them. Maybe if they live for 20 years, don't eat them.
So don't eat them, you're saying? Don't eat them? Did I say 20 years? I just read that it takes about 10 years per centimeter. Can I keep talking about date shells? Are you getting sick of me? So I just read that about a meter of coastline is destroyed. This certain rock that the shell grows in, which you have to break open with a hammer. A meter is destroyed for every 20 shells. And I think that's the big problem, is that it does damage to the coast. The fine in Croatia and some other countries, I guess, where they're banned, which is every country except for this particular town of Neum, can go up to $6,000 per plate. Peter?
Peter.
Am I gonna go to hell?
No.
Are you gonna go to hell?
Well, yes, I am. For sure.
For this, the forbidden
Yeah.
food? Yeah.
I'm going for sure. Yeah.
So today we're visiting the Klek Peninsula again for some swimming. And look, a stetshock in Neum. This is the best beach so far. And I guess it's the best beach we're gonna see. It's our last day in Neum.
It is true. There are a few sea urchins, but it's fine because they're pets to go in the water.
Hey, sea urchin spotter, where are they?
There's also a lot of fish right here.
Fish. Let's see.
One,
0.
2,
0.
3. I won. The beep has won. Ed is a sore loser. 1 loser.
final view of the Adriatic Sea before we push inland to Sarajevo. It'll be a different video. Sorry about the Spomeniks. We only saw 7. I thought we'd see a lot more Spomeniks than we did. Next video will be better. I'm sure of it.